Hi everyone, welcome to episode 115 of the arieknits podcast. My name is Ariel and this is a video podcast where I talk about all the things that I have been knitting and spinning on for the past week. Today it is Saturday, May 17th, and this past week I have a couple new cast-ons and I made some progress on some of my other projects, and yeah, I'm excited to share it with you all today. Let's just get right into it. I want to start off with what I'm wearing because a viewer reminded me that I have not shown or worn this test knit that I did for Sari Nordlund. Now that her book is out, her new book, it's called Summer Knits book, I test knit for one of the patterns in that book, and it was kind of like a secret. Like Sari Nordlund, when she did the test calls on her Instagram, you could see what the finished object looked like in the application, but after that she didn't, I think she said she didn't want anything to be posted about it until she posted about the pattern on Instagram. So I think that this was back in September last year, and so it's been a very long time. Kind of forgot about it, and to be honest, I have not actually worn it out at all, or even, I mean, I tried it on, but that was basically it. And then today, right now, I'm actually wearing it, well, for the podcast. I was wearing a sweater earlier today, but I remembered to wear it for the podcast, and we're going to talk about it for a little bit. Might be kind of hard to see because I am actually wearing it a bit layered. I'm also cold, so I'm going to later on put on a cardigan after I talk about this, because it is surprisingly, I feel like the past couple of weeks were like a nice warm sunny weather, and this weekend or this past week just is rainy and kind of cold again. So yeah, not quite time for just wearing tees and tanks yet. But anyway, the pattern that I test knit for Sari Nordlund for her book is the Venus top, and the yarn I use for this is Woolberry Fiber Coat Berry Linen base in the colorway Coral. It is not a base that Bethany has available all the time, but I think during spring, summer times that she'll sometimes bring it back with different colorways. And I knit size 1. I used US 4 needles, 3.5 millimeter needles to knit this top. And final measurements I got on it are 28 inches in circumference, and so that gives me about 2 inches of negative ease on this. And I am wearing, it is an all over lace top. I'll stand up in a second, but it's an all over lace tank top. The straps are really skinny. As you can see, I am wearing it over a t-shirt. It is not like the best way to style this, I will admit that. I tried on multiple things today before filming to figure out the best way to layer this, because I'm not wearing this without something under it, because the lace is very open, so you will be able to just like see everything under it, and I'm not that kind of, I don't wear those kinds of things. And so I just found a t-shirt, a little tank that's a bit more tight fitting. Since this top has negative ease, I don't want the shirt under it that I'm wearing to be all bunched up. The colorway of the yarn is a corally, kind of like peachy color, and I'm wearing a pink t-shirt, and so it's like off, does not match, but I thought it was the best option I had to show you all the top. I feel like if I had, I'll stand up now. So here's the top. You can see it is all the same kind of lace chart. It's like this thick, and it goes all the way around. It has a high neck here, right? Very long arm holes. I did have to make the straps, I think, pretty short. But on the bottom, you can see here, because of the way that the lace is, actually it's kind of hard to see, but it does kind of create this like wavy hem line at the bottom, and you'll actually be able to see this on the back. I'm going to turn around. Here's the back. It is a lower back, as you can tell. So yeah, working on this it's all over lace. You could see this lace pattern is all over the front and back. Working it was pretty simple in terms of like, you just follow the lace pattern. I do believe that this was worked bottom up. I think that this was worked bottom up because the actually Wow, I'm forgetting now. But either way, it's like pretty simple. Even, actually, it might have been worked top down. You do this front part here, pretty straight. There might be some increases. Actually, I think that it actually was worked top down. I think that this front panel was worked, you know, by itself, flat. And then you cast on all the stitches for the back, joined in the round, and then did the rest of the body in the round. So I believe that that's how it was done, but it was kind of a while ago. I think, okay, I really love this yarn. It's the first time that I worked with Woolberry's Berry Linen, and it is very soft. It's not pokey. It does feel very, like there are plant pieces that are, like the linen, you can see kind of like poking out here and there, but if it's, if some of them are extra like long pieces, it's easy to either pull it out or just like cut it, like just trim it a little bit. But the yarn is really nice. Feels nice, was nice to work with, was really thin, like I feel like it was a light fingering weight, so maybe with a thicker fingering weight or heavy fingering weight yarn that this top, like the lace would be less holey, because I feel like Sari Nordlund's one didn't quite look as holey as mine's, but it could just be difference in just like, you know, looking at it up close in person versus like in pictures. But yeah, and then the other thing was, yeah, I did have to like adjust the strap length versus what it said in the pattern. I'm pretty sure, I feel like for most Sari Nordlund tops that are kind of this style, my straps need to be pretty short because the armhole depth is like pretty long from the top to like where that, you can see like my underarm is like right here, and so it's pretty low. There's a lot of kind of like side. If I wasn't wearing a shirt under this, I would be worried about the sides kind of opening up a bit, but I think that wearability of this is, if you're someone who likes to wear very like open tank tops and things and are comfortable with that, then very cute. Like I love how that looks. I just, for me, it's not the most comfortable thing to wear by itself, and so I would definitely have to layer this on something, and that is fine. I just don't have the right top to wear it with. I mean, I feel like this one is okay. It kind of just like all blends, and maybe that's like fine too. But yeah, just not something I feel very inclined to grab and wear, I feel like. But I think overall it's like a really pretty piece to look at. I think actually my favorite part is the back. Like I really like how the back of this looks. I like the low back. I like how this kind of like wavy edge on top of the back part looks. Like I think that's really pretty. I think that maybe, I don't know. I think that maybe I just need to style this a different way to like it better, but yeah, otherwise I just think it's like a pretty piece. Like if I just had it hanging and was like, I knit that and it's very pretty looking, less something of like, I want to wear that. If that makes sense. I feel like I don't really have that many pieces that I feel that way about, but this might be like one of them. So yeah, I do think that this took me only one skein of yarn, like basically I think almost a whole skein of yarn to use, but I did have 2 skeins of this yarn, and I only used 1. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this, but it is in Sari Nordlund's new book, Summer Knits. I'm pretty sure it's Summer Knits. I did pre-order it from La Mercerie, which is a yarn store in Bainbridge Island, and actually my friend did like a group order for us so that we didn't have to pay like double shipping for that. But yeah, so I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm excited to get it pretty soon. And yeah, it'll be the first time, I think, will be the first time that I see my name in a knitting book. That's pretty cool. I did test knit something for a different designer for a book. I think it was Joan Ho, her cable knit, I think, book, although I haven't bought it and I've been planning to, I just haven't yet. But this will be the first time that I see my name in a knitting book, and I think that's really cool since I was a test knitter, and a couple of my friends were also test knitters for this book, and so it's really cool that our names are all in the book, and so that's really cool. And yeah, that just feels like extra fun to do that. So yeah, so this is the Venus top. There are a lot of other garments in that book that I want to knit this year, if I can get to it. If not, just like ideas for next year or something. But yeah, a lot of good patterns. I really like most of Sari Nordlund's patterns, so yeah, I just overall like her designs and her style and what she comes up with. So there's, I mean, besides her book, there's a lot of other patterns that she's come out with that I want to knit, and so I just don't have enough time in the day or hands to knit that fast and that many things. But working through my list and enjoying every bit that I get to knit. So that's what I'm wearing today. I'm going to put on a cardigan now because I'm cold. And just real quick, this is my Sewrella cardigan by Andrea Mowry. Just a quick, easy cardigan to put over myself for the rest of the video. Okay, let's move on to my whips this week. I had a good time working on my whips this week. I'm going to start off talking about my Market Henley by Claire Jackson, and the yarn I use for this, Explorer Knits Earthy Sock in the colorway In Bloom. And I'm knitting size 36 inches, which is 36 inches in circumference, like final measurements of the garment. And I'm using US 5 needles, 3.75 millimeter needles to knit this. And I'll hold it up a bit more so that you can see that I finished both sleeves. Both sleeves are done now. I believe that I was working on my second sleeve last week. This was my stitch marker from last week, and so I finished up that sleeve. I was like, just get it done. I am so close. And so I finished up that sleeve. I am feeling great. 2 finished sleeves, which means all I have left, because I already did like the finishings at the collar, all I have left is the body. And so now I am just working in the round for the body. And I also was like, if I'm close to finishing a ball of yarn before a podcast, I'm like, finish the ball of yarn, like knit until you reach the end so that I'm not attached to any ball of yarn while holding this up for the podcast. It kind of is a great motivator for me, actually, to get some knitting done on some projects. And so I am done now with my second ball of yarn. So 2 skeins got me all of this for the size that I'm knitting. And I do have just 1 more skein of this, but I'm not worried at all. I have 1 more full skein to finish the body. And I do want to show from where I picked up for the body this week to show you that I did also work quite a bit on the body. It's right here. So this section was where I picked up the body this week and also continued knitting. So I got a couple inches of the body done as well this week, and so I'm feeling really good. I'm so excited for this knit to be done. I think it's going to be so nice and cozy, and not only cozy and super warm, because it is fingering weight, but I think it's like the perfect time or the perfect weight of sweater for this time of year when it's like sometimes cold or maybe just a little cool, like not super cold, but like you still want a little something covering your arms to keep you just that little bit more warm, right? So this is going to be so nice to wear, I think. I'm so excited for it. So it's looking super, super cute. Every time I hold it up, I just love looking at it. I think it looks especially good on camera. I like all of that texture. Looks great. Relaxing knit to work on. And especially now because I'm on the body, I don't have to like count 4 decreases like on the sleeve. And so it's in a great spot right now. I just need to start up with my 3rd skein. So that's my Market Henley. The next thing I want to talk about is the Salt and Timber Shawl by Lindsey Fowler. The yarn I'm using for this is Sewrella Yarn Classic Sock in the colorway Theater. It is a 1-size shawl. I was holding it the wrong way. And I am using US 6 needles or 5mm needles to knit this. And it's actually looking even more like a shawl now, and I did just get through one section, a lot shorter of a section this week than the week before. I did a whole bunch on it the week, like last time we talked, but this time I just worked a little bit, so you can see my stitch marker here from last week, and so I just worked, that might be like a little bit over an inch. I don't think that's 2 inches, maybe 1.5 inches, and I am holding it upside down, and the lighting might make this kind of difficult to see, but the section that I just finished with is kind of like this wavy section, or it's kind of like prepping for, I think it's called a wave transition. So also the section I'm now next into is just the ribbing. So I just have, I think it's 3 inches of ribbing though, so that's kind of a lot. But the way that, I think it's so nice, the way that transitions into ribbing, you can see some of the ribbing start right here. But you can see that there's this like outline of like a wave. Do you see it? Like right here, there's like this, oops, this is kind of hard to hold up. Also with blocking, I think this will be a lot clearer, but the ribbing starts in like this like wave pattern. It goes like this, and you can see that there's like more ribbing here than right at the top because the ribbing's going to continue here, but it goes like this all the way across the bottom of the shawl. And you know that I love a good kind of like wave shape or design, and so I think that that's really nice, and also was one of the design like aspects of the shawl that I loved and the reason why I wanted to make it. And so also it's really nice now. I don't have to, all I have to do is do the ribbing. It is a 3x2 ribbing, and that means, and there's also no more increases, so that means I can just knit straight. I don't have to look at the pattern. I don't have to follow a chart. It's in a really great spot. Like I wanted to get to this spot for this shawl so that it won't feel so much like a burden to work on, just in terms of like, oh, I have to, in order for me to work on this, I need to be looking at a chart or like keeping track of what row I'm on in the instructions for the, you know, specific section. And so it's feeling great now. I just now have to do a whole bunch of ribbing. And, but yeah, I'm like nearing, you know, this is like the last section of the shawl. And so it's getting super exciting. Did I mention, yeah, I already mentioned the yarn, right? Sewrella yarn, classic sock, colorway theater. It's a nice tonal, kind of more like a muted kind of color. I think neutral, it's a neutral color. And so I'm really happy with it. It's going to come, the shawl's going to come just in time for the weather to be warm, I think, but it'll be all right. Because if it's just cold in the mornings or at night, I can still use it. It's like fingering weight. And if not, it'll be ready for me in the fall. But just like stitch design wise on this, I think that it was really fun and it's going to look really pretty, and I do really like the look of this. And so that's going really nicely. Okay, next up is, oh, nice. Okay, I made progress on my May socks. I don't feel as behind as I thought I was going to be. Okay, I finished one side. One finished sock this week. I think that this was my stitch marker, and so I did just power through. I powered through. I was like, get done with one sock. Get it done. And so I did. This is how it's looking. Every time I make socks, the foot length of this is always so much longer than I think that my foot actually is, but I tried it on and it actually fits quite nicely. So yeah, because I feel like it's like the same length. Well, even longer? Is it even longer than like the leg part of this? Yeah. But anyway, this is the side. You can see that it's just all over, it's an all over cable pattern. It's not like a basic simple cable pattern. There is kind of like an actual, like an alternating knit and purl happening within like the little oval shape that it makes for each of those. But it also just looks very nice, like nice cable pattern, nothing super crazy. Here's the sock. Oh, did I say, I did not say the sock pattern. This is the Monday Sunday socks by Sari Nordlund. I'm really happy that I have one sock done, and it is about like the middle of the month, and so that actually is now keeping me on track. What else do I have to say? Oh, the yarn I'm using for this is a fingering weight yarn that I hand dyed myself, and I wish I could recreate this color because I think that this green is really nice, and I kind of like that subtle variegation that's happening in it. I just don't know how I did that, but I really am enjoying it. Here you can see the top of the sock now that my hand is in it. So that's what it's looking like. And then, because I always fear that I'm not going to, cast on the second sock. Same with my sweater sleeves. I'm always worried that I'm not going to pick up for the second sleeve. So usually as soon as I finish one side, I immediately cast on or pick up, the next side so that I don't have an excuse to not work on the next side. So this is how much I got done on my second side of the pair, which is pretty good. I got through the ribbing and I got through one chart right here. So it's great progress. I think last time we talked about this, I tried a different technique for doing the 1x1 rib on the top because I talk about this a lot. I do not like how my 1x1 rib looks. I prefer how my 1x1 rib looks on the wrong side. So if I fold this over, this is the wrong side of my 1x1 rib, and it looks great. Oh, I also need to note here that many people, I say that I like my knit stitches to be really tight like this. Do you see how super tight they are? The V shape versus on this side. If I stretch it out, the V's come apart, right? Like these columns here, the knit columns, the V's come apart, and I don't like that. I want them to be nice and tight like these. And every time I say that, I don't think I've addressed this, but every time I say that, people tell me that I should just do a twisted rib. And I just do not like the look of a twisted rib, unless it's part of the design, but I would not swap out a normal 1x1 rib for a twisted rib in most cases. Also because I feel like a twisted rib is not as stretchy as a normal 1x1 rib, and so especially for socks, I just wouldn't do that. And so that's not an alternative option for me. So I tried a different method to my 1x1 rib on my second sock, because my first one I did combination ribbing, which none of your stitches actually end up twisted, but the way that you work them, you're kind of knitting through the back loop, you purl through the back loop, but then you wrap your yarn around the other way. And so when you come around the next time, when you go through the back loop, you're actually correcting the direction your yarn is. Your yarn, when you wrap your yarn around. Which, I don't want to go into too much detail about what that is, but the end result is a normal knit and a normal purl. This time I wanted to see, I was like, well, if I still it still looked like my normal 1x1 rib. It didn't change anything at all. So I thought, what if I tried to do the same idea of the combination knitting, which is dealing with the purl stitch. Your purl stitch is the one that you work differently, but it ends up looking like a normal purl stitch. I thought, what if I did that, but on the knit stitch? Because then maybe that'll do the opposite, and then my wrong side would be the right side. That didn't work. I kind of just ended up, it looks the same, and my wrong side ribbing on this looks how I would prefer it still. So that was not a great fix for me. I think at this point I should just, I'm done experimenting, at least for the short term. maybe I just should knit my one by one rib in the opposite way so that the wrong side of it ends up being the right side. I should probably just do that. I know I've talked about it so much. I apologize if it's now annoying, but it is something that I'm just like, there must be a way for me to fix it with my knitting and not having to do anything with it after. But also, it's fine. No one's gonna look at my ribbing. Like, it looks fine. The ribbing looks fine. It doesn't look loose or, you know, uneven between rounds, you know, so it just is what it is. And for socks, it really doesn't matter. I think that's why I was okay kind of experimenting with these socks. But yeah, I just want to update you all on that. So, still a mystery to me what I'm doing with my one by one rib. Or who knows, maybe this is what it looks like for everyone, and I just, for some reason, prefer the wrong side. But for some people, the wrong side and right side looks the same. Mine doesn't look the same. Anyway, my brain cannot handle doing any more experiments right now on it, but maybe sometime in the future I'll get back to it. But yeah, that was my kind of long update on my May socks. Okay, we're moving right along through my list here. Let me talk about my I have more things to talk about than I wrote down. Okay, let's talk about this first. This is my Islander vest. This is a test knit for Claire Jackson, perfectly knotted. And the yarn I'm using for this is less traveled yarn in the colorway Jade. It is a fingering weight base. I don't know if that base had like a specific name. It is like a light fingering yarn though, is what it feels like. I'm knitting size 3. I'm using US 5 needles, 3.75 millimeter needles to knit this. And maybe you'll notice these are not on needles right now because I had to pull out those needles to work on something else in the meantime. But I did make good progress on this, or pretty good anyway. But now also, maybe because it's not squished on the needles, this will be a bit easier to see what's happening. I'll just hold out one side of the front. It is a vest that has V-neck shaping on the neck, on the front, and there will be like ties to tie them in the front, but there's no sleeves. It's just like a, you know, sleeveless like this. You can see the really nice like broken rib detail on the edging here. It's also on the V-neck edge here and the front. Okay, this is where I'm at right now, or this is how much I knit this past week. My stitch marker down here, and so I did get a good few inches, which is super nice. You can see, oh look, I can actually like hold out the length of the body, and so this is how much I'm working with for rows. And you can maybe see now too, I just did my first, I think last time I talked a lot about the bust shaping on this, and I am now doing the decreases from the full bust to the waist, and so I just did like my first decrease, and so you can't really see it, but if I hold, this is the left like armhole or underarm part, so this kind of like weird section you see here are the increases to the full bust, and then I just did my first decrease like right here, and so now after the increases here, and I'm starting to decrease rate is a lot less than the bust increases, and so that's been pretty fun to work on. Does mean I kind of have to like keep track of the count of rows, but it's not too difficult. I use stitch markers, and so it's yeah, it's really not too bad. But yeah, I want to try and like hold this up with like the fronts so you can actually kind of see what the shaping is. But yeah, so here's where I'm at. I'm not now stand up. I'm not close quite yet to finishing the body. You can see this is how much of the body from the underarm I have done. So I've got a good amount more inches to go, but it's working out great. Right now I'm just kind of knitting and stocking it with the occasional decrease, so it's great. It's great to work on. There's a great, I feel like every day there's a time and place for stockinette knitting flat, like it sometimes is annoying because you have to purl, and purling's not my favorite, but I don't mind it too much. I mean, those rows always go a little bit slower, but if I want like a mindless knit, stockinette is great. And so this is I feel like all my projects right now are in pretty like great states in terms of like the section of, the instructions on to work on them are like either easy to memorize or like straight stockinette right now or like ribbing or something. So overall, feeling great. I made progress on the projects to put them in easy states to work on in the future. Yeah? I don't know. Okay, so that's the test knit. Okay, another project that I worked on this week, which was kind of a surprise to me, but I just wanted to work on a whole bunch of things this week, is my one crochet project right now, which is the Bespoke Cardigan by Nikki. And the yarn I'm using for this is the Rerum Natura Gilliat in the colorway Cacao. I'm crocheting size 1, and I'm using a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. And I am so excited because now, actually I don't even remember which piece, but I finished. Last time I took out my stitch markers because I'm getting ready to wash and block these pieces. But I finished the second sleeve. And so now all the pieces for this cardigan are done now. I have 2 sleeves, and if you're like, what the heck? They're crocheted flat, and so they will be sewed on the seams here, and so this is like what the sleeve will actually look like. They look so cute. It looks so good. I can't believe that this is crocheted. And I also love the yarn. I love the color of the yarn. It's just everything is feeling so great about these. So I have 2 finished sleeves, and I have a finished right front. It's a V-neck cardigan. I have the left front, but it's on the side there because I already washed and blocked it, so I don't want to put it in the same pile of the other things I need to wash and block. And then I have a finished back piece. And so all the pieces are done now. I just need to wash and block, wait for it to dry, and then I seam it all. And then I think after seaming is when there is going to be a like button band that I have to crochet on. I'm pretty sure. I didn't read forward in the instructions, but I'm pretty sure that's what needs to happen. And so, but all the main big pieces are done being crocheted. And so that feels great. It honestly was really nice because once I got the hang of the stitch, which was very early on in the project, like working on this was just a really nice, pretty like meditative way for me to crochet, because for the most part, I didn't have to worry too much about all of these like different instructions that I needed to follow. Like for the sleeve, it was just worked straight like this. And so the only thing I needed to count was how many rows I did. Once I, set it up, there was no like increases or decreases. So I could be pretty mindless working on it. And it was, honestly, it felt really nice to crochet this. So, gosh, I'm so excited to wash and block this. I hope I have the motivation to do that today. But, I guess I will. I will just show you because it's very obvious to me in person which one is washed and blocked. But, here. This is the side that is washed and blocked, the left front. And this is the side that is not washed or blocked. In person, it is just like crazy to me that it's like very visible which one is washed and blocked. I think, but the fabric that this makes after it's like so nice and like still has its structure, but it's a lot more flowy and less stiff, versus this one is just like, it's stiff. But this one, I'm like, oh my gosh, this cardigan's going to be so comfortable. It's going to be so nice. Also, it looks a lot more I don't want to say felted, because I didn't felt it, but it does just look a little more worn in. Or maybe it just kind of like floofed up. It's like poofed up a little bit, the yarn. There's like, it's a little bit more holey here, and here it's just less holey. Yeah. Yeah, it's less, actually, I wonder if I held it up close. Sorry, this might not be interesting now, but if I held it up close to you all. Also, okay, they're the same color. I don't know why, it's probably the lighting that's making it look different, but this is the blocked piece, and the washed and blocked piece, and this has not been washed and blocked yet. You see it? Like this, the yarn just looks way more poofed up and fluffed versus this one. You see that? It really almost looks like different colors in the camera, which is kind of funny. But yeah, it's crazy to me. Usually, right, like I just wash the whole garment. Usually the whole garment is made kind of not in pieces. When I knit, I don't like to knit things that you have to seam. So I don't normally get the opportunity to feel a piece that is washed and blocked versus a piece of it that's not. And so it's actually a pretty cool comparison. So it's in an exciting spot right now. I'm not excited to seam it and sew it together, but also maybe kind of, because then it's all going to come together, because right now they're all just like flat pieces. So it's going to take me some time, but it'd be kind of nice to get that done pretty soon so that I can have a fun new cardigan to wear. So that is my bespoke cardigan. Okay, now onto the pretty exciting stuff. It's all exciting, but I have 2 new cast-ons this week. And, okay, this first one is what I mentioned, I'm pretty sure, last week. Me and my friends are doing, my friends Meghan and Emily are doing a flock knit-along this year. It started last week. That was like our official kickoff date. We're calling it the PKW Flock U Cal, because we are the knit-along is to knit some Tori U patterns. And I know the idea is like knit a summer pattern for summer to wear at flock, but I had to take this opportunity with knitting a Tori U pattern to knit one of my Make 9 patterns for this year, which is the Metropolitan Pullover. And so I cast that on our call. We had a kickoff call for the knit-along on Megan's Discord last weekend, and I think I said in the podcast that I was hoping to cast it on so I wouldn't have to do all of that counting on the call, but I didn't get to it, and so I just had to do that on the call. Let me hold it up so you actually have something to look at. On the call, I did actually knit a bit, maybe like 10 rows or 10 rows, and then I ripped it all out because I think my stitch marker got all weird for the increases, and so I had to restart. So I cast on, knit a little bit, restart on the call, got back on track, and I have knit this much. Now it looks like a lot because it is a lot. It's worked top down, as you could maybe tell, and I have split for sleeves, and I've worked a good amount of body on this sweater. But this yarn and the pattern, the gauge is large. It's a fluffy sweater. This is where, a very large gauge fluffy sweater for summer seems kind of weird. But, again, it's part of my Make 9. And I was like, I gotta get more of my Make 9 on my needles for this year. And I've been wanting to make this sweater for so long, ever since it came out, basically. So I am pumped to have this where it is right now. Okay, details on this. Yarn I'm using is Camellia Fiber Company Somme DK in the colorway New York. And I forget if I must have talked about this in a previous video, but as a reminder for myself and maybe for you too, the yarn is 42% baby alpaca, 8% merino, and 50% Pima cotton. And each of these is 50 grams, 164 yards for each of these. And part of me is like, well, if there's some cotton in it, kind of makes it feel a bit more summery, even though it's really fluffy and probably very warm. It does have a lot of like a halo on it. It's so soft. This yarn is so soft. It's super nice to work with. I feel this is kind of like, I think of like a blown tube construction of the yarn. But it's so nice. This yarn is so nice to work with. It's my first time working with the yarn. So far I'm loving it. I'm really excited to just see how it washes and blocks as well, and then also how it feels to like actually wear and like how it feels on the skin. And so that's all things that I'm looking forward to. And I just couldn't stop myself this week. Also, again, like I got to the point where I am just knitting in the round for the body, and so I kind of just want to like keep going. Like it's just a great fast, quick, easy knit compared to all my other like fingering weight projects. Like this feels so nice. It's a DK weight yarn, but I think it's knit at probably a, I mean, is it a bulk? No, maybe like an Aran weight gauge, maybe worsted weight. I don't know. I forget the gauge. Is it like, I just looked it up and it is 16 inches for, it's 16 stitches for 4 inches for stitch gauge. So it is a large gauge, but this yarn is fluffy. I feel like I will love this end product, and so I already want to make one with like holding Sari double. I think that would be a really great version as well. Oh, I want to show you all the detail on this that's really nice is that this is the top of the shoulder. It is worked contiguous. I think that's the word. Construction, and so it looks like a saddle shoulder, but you're actually just increasing on the sides here, so you don't have to like knit this small section and then pick up stitches on the side. You're all just working it as you're working the rest in flat or in the round, basically, for the neck. And then you can see all of these like eyelet holes that go, that's like, this is the arm, the sleeve, the armhole, and I thought that's really nice. It just looks really cute. It's like a subtle little detail, but that kind of just makes it look just that extra bit, special detail. And so that's where I'm at right now. I think my plan will be I'm on my second skein right now, and so I want to finish up that second skein. That probably will not take me to the full length of the body, and then so I will just stop the body there for now, and then when I reconnect balls of yarn, I will work on the sleeves. And that's usually what I do with my sweaters anyway. But yeah, so this is working out really nice. It's such a nice, soft, probably will be a very lightweight but fluffy sweater that's knitting up so fast just because of the gauge. And again, it's just really nice to have like a large gauge project on the needles when like along with all of my fingering weight projects, just to have a project that feels like it's like flying, which this one is. Did I say that I'm knitting size 1 for that one, and I'm using US 8 needles, 5.0 millimeter needles to knit that. And so I think that is my largest needle size that I'm working with right now on my projects. It's kind of like a bit jarring when I switch projects. Like if it's right next to, like I put down a project and I pick that one up and I'm like, whoa, those needles feel large. Like I feel like I have to readjust how I'm knitting. And actually also the same when I knit on that and I go immediately to a smaller needle project. The needles feel so small, which is really funny. Okay, and then my last new cast on for this week is actually something I cast on last night and worked on only that. From last night all the way till this morning. I mean, not from last night to the morning, but all last night, and then also this morning, this afternoon, up until I filmed this podcast, basically. But this one's a little special because I don't think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but I am part of the group of preview knitters for Woolberry, and this is something new she started this year. So I think that she had an application open to like anyone, maybe in January this year, February or something, where you can apply to be a preview preview knitter for her. And again, this is like a new thing that she was doing. Once she selected her group of preview knitters, then every time she has a collection, there would be some advance notice to the preview knitters about this collection and the yarn that's available. And then we would all kind of like submit an idea to knit for this preview, for the preview knit. So we could give our idea about pattern. It's basically like, here's the pattern that I would like to make, and here's the yarn I would like to make it with, and the yarn color. We could pick like, you know, top 3 choices, and so Bethany in the end would be able to make that final decision for you. But she would select some people from that group of preview knitters. So every collection, not everyone in the group would get to knit something, but you kind of like apply again for a specific pattern and yarn combination. And then when she selects you, she will send you the yarn. And this is, I want to note that this is different than like other preview knit. I've never done like a sample knit. I've never done a sample knit for any yarn dyer before, although I've been thinking about maybe wanting to, and then I'm kind of like chicken out. But this one is really cool for Woolberry because you get to make your size and you get to keep the final object for this. The requirement from Bethany is that you post pictures of like updates on you making it and of the yarn, and the yarn is given to us for free because it is a preview knit. And so we get to keep the garment and we get to knit our size, which is really crazy. So, and very generous of Bethany. But of course, you know, we need to make sure that we post pictures. There is like a deadline, like basically when the collection is released to everyone to buy from, at least by that time, to have pictures of the of your knitted object or crocheted object or whichever. I think she also has some weaving projects that you can do as well, like if you wanted to. And I think for the most part, it has differed from the different collections she's done so far, but depending on how much advance notice she gives us, because it has been pretty tight deadlines, only like 70% of it needs to be done by the collection release date, or 50%. Okay, so with that kind of background, because I haven't mentioned that, and I haven't mentioned it because I haven't gotten chosen yet for a preview knit, but this round I did, and this is for the Caboose 2.0 collection. She's already posted about this on her Instagram that it's coming back. I think she said 11 colorways are coming back, and 3 of them are going to be new ones. We do not know. She did not tell us what the new ones are, so I'm also looking forward to seeing what those ones are. But I got picked to preview knit for this one. I just got the yarn yesterday, so this is why I immediately cast on yesterday, and it's all I was working on yesterday. Because the deadline, the yarn didn't get shipped out until way past when the ideal time would have been for us. I just want to note that if you're like, oh, isn't the Caboose collection coming out next week? And you are correct. The collection is coming out next week. That does not give us enough time to knit a lot of things. I picked a cardigan. And this was with the ideal situation where I think we had maybe like 3 or 4 weeks to knit, which is still crazy for me to commit to a cardigan. But I was like, I could do that in 3 weeks if I really pushed hard and kind of only worked on that project. But now it is like less than a week. So, and Bethany knows this, and she told us that if all we can do is post pictures of the yarn, that is totally good enough for her for this. But I am a crazy person, and I just want to see how much of this cardigan I can get done before the Caboose collection. I mean, either way, I am going to finish this cardigan. But let me hold up the yarn first so you can see what color got chosen for me. I think that this was, I mean, there was no like pick your top 1, top 2, top 3, or like ordering. I just had to pick 3 colors. But I'm quite happy with this choice. You can see it's a light blue colorway. This is the Cool Breeze colorway from the Caboose collection, and I know that my friend Emily has her Calm Down cardigan was in this colorway, and so I knew that this color looked really beautiful in person, and so it looks great. I'm very happy. I got this in the Berry Sport base. And I can show you what I am knitting with this, because I will be honest, I'm quite happy with how much progress I have done on this since I literally just cast this on yesterday. And last night. I didn't even work on it all day yesterday, because yesterday was Friday. It was a work day. But I'm just organizing it right now so I can hold it up. All right. Here it is. This is the Vila cardigan by Marzena Kolacek. And if you remember, but maybe not, it's totally fine. This is also another pattern that is on my Make 9 for this year. And so I thought that this would be such a pretty color to have for this really delicate looking cardigan, which those details are not shown here right now. All that there is the fronts and backs. And I'm now working on the body flat. Here's the armholes. Not too much done from connecting under the arms. But it is a all over stockinette cardigan. I'll try and hold up the front here. The top part is it's a rounded neck, so it's not a V-neck cardigan. You can, hold it up like this, or I'll just hold up one side. Here, this is the neckline, and so it's a kind of wider, it's not a one that goes all the way up to your neck, but it's a wider, rounded neck cardigan. It's going to have buttons. The buttonholes are worked as you go. The edging here for kind of the front edging is just an I-cord, which is worked at the same time. So it's great. There will be no picking up for the button edge or the collar afterwards. Actually, maybe there will be, I think, for the neck edge, because that's, kind of the raw, kind of cast on edge. But for the front button edge, it's just worked as you go, which is super nice. So this is where I'm at right now. Okay, and then the part that I really love about this pattern is that the sleeves, cuffs, right at the end, there is it's a ruffled sleeve cuff. And I love that. I don't have a cardigan that has that, and so I'm really looking forward to having a cardigan that looks really nice and delicate. And I feel like having it in this light blue color is just going to just add that extra. I think it's going to just look super nice in the Cool Breeze colorway. And so this is what I have worked on so far. I am knitting size 1. I'm using US 5 needles, 3.75 millimeter needles to knit this. This is what I had to steal the needles from my test knit. But because I'm planning to work on this really fast, and the test knit is not due, I still have a lot of time for that. I'm not super worried, but if I do want to work on it, it'll just be it'll be easy. They're interchangeable needles, right? And so I can quickly transfer it to the other project to work on. But yeah, that's what I am working on right now. What I have to say so far about working on this pattern, I think this is the only second pattern that I have knit from Marzena. And one thing I have noticed is that I think that her knit gauge is very tight. Because the other sweater pattern I've knit from her, I've noticed my gauge was huge. I used the recommended needle size. This is the recommended needle size as well. But my gauge was huge, but what I noticed was actually my fabric was still very dense. And so I was just, that time, I think she had a mohair sweater, and I used Sari held double. Hers was, I'm pretty sure, mohair held double. But mohair, especially I think knitting for Olive, I think she uses that quite a bit, or at least probably that sweater and also this sweater she used knitting for Olive. That mohair is pretty more thin, I feel than some Suris, hand-dyed yarn Suri. And so I just attributed that, the thickness of my fabric and my gauge being so huge, being that I used Suri held double, and it was just extra thick. For this one, it's very interesting. Her yarn combination for her sweater is a fingering weight plus a mohair. specifically the Knitting for Olive, like, wool, like, fingering weight plus the mohair. And I'm using a sport weight, and so usually when I see fingering plus mohair, I think DK. And I had a feeling I could have ordered, or, you know, when I applied for this preview knit, I could have said DK weight for the yarn. But I said sport weight because I had a feeling. I looked at the gauge, and the gauge was quite small. And so I was like, I don't think I can get my DK weight gauge to be that small. So I went with sport weight. Thank goodness I did, because this fabric is already, like, it's not, like, incredibly dense, but it is on the more dense side. Like, if I went any smaller of a needle size, it would be pretty dense. Like, it might be hard to knit with. I don't know. And I'm just a little bit over gauge right now. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. I think the size will still be fine with what I have. I might just be 1 stitch or 2 stitches off in the gauge in kind of both stitch and row. But a lot can happen. More can happen with gauge once you knit, like, more of the garments. But overall, I tried it on so far, and nothing seems super crazy about it in terms of, like, wow, it's, like, extra large, you know, versus what I was expecting if my gauge was really that off. So I am just continuing to knit on this. And I'm very pleased so far with this. It's looking great. And I'm almost done. I can show you. I'm almost done with my first skein here. I'm so close. So I am hoping to get this first skein done tonight. Start working on the second skein. Once I start the second skein, I think just for purposes of, like, not finishing the whole thing in time for the Caboose collection release, I will probably finish the neck finishing and then start working on a sleeve. It'd be really nice if I could get a full sleeve done before the Caboose collection release, so that I can just, like, have a picture of that really cute, like, ruffled sleeve cuff to show on Instagram. But yeah, keep an eye out for that, because I will at the very least post a picture of the yarn. But I do have a lot of this done already, so, you know, just having a little bit of a preview on kind of, like, what this looks like knit up in a cardigan, although it is a tonal yarn color, so less difficult to kind of see how it gets, or, like, imagine what it would look like to get knit up. But still, I would like to get a little bit of a picture with this on my Instagram. So yeah, this is one I will be working on heavily this coming week. I probably won't, and I probably shouldn't work on too many other projects this week, because I really would like to get as much of that done as I can. But yeah, yesterday was an exciting mail day for that yarn. And yeah, excited to get that started. And so now also, like, because again, that Vila cardigan was on my Make 9, I have a couple things on my Make 9 now on my needles, that and the Metropolitan pullover. So feeling great. I'm really excited and pleased with how that has all been working out. Okay, really quickly to just finish up for today's video, I have a couple spinning updates and then one quick little acquisition. So I finished my Nest Fiber spin of the Fin Fiber in the colorway Corsage, which is from April 2024 Club, and it's still on my bobbin, as you can see. Look how, like, full it is. Like, I don't know if most of mine. I feel like this fin might be kind of, like, extra airy, and so it really is kind of, like, really right at the edge of my bobbin capacity. But these colors are looking so nice and so happy. Lots of pink, which makes me, I love pink, so it's looking extra great. I wish the camera would focus a lot faster. But this is what I have right now. I have not wound up. I do have some extra singles on this, you know, like the leftovers, and so I haven't, plied that together yet. But I will do that, and then I will wind this off, wind it up into a skein and do the finishing on that, and then I will show you the finishing probably next week. But this is what it looks like on the bobbin. I think it does also look really fun on the bobbin too, so I occasionally would, I could have wound this up on a skein, to show you all, but sometimes it's fun, I feel like, to look at it on the bobbin. And so I am done with this. It was a 2-ply fractal. I split it like 2 and 4 for the fractal, and turned out great. I love it. Very happy with that. And then I'm still working, made some progress on my ZZ Textiles Rambouillet Elberdritchel fiber, my sweater spin. I think I spun 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, I think 2 ounces potentially. Yeah, I think 2 ounces. And so starting on my 3rd bobbin, and I'm going to have 4 bobbins in total. So last time I just finished halfway. So now, yeah, I think, yeah, I'm almost halfway through the 3rd bobbin, which is really nice. There's 5 ounces on each full bobbin. So yeah, so I'm 2 ounces in on my 3rd bobbin right now. Almost halfway there. It's been nice to work on, honestly. Also, okay, I wanted to note, I probably should do this and show you all next time I have my wheel with me, my electric eel wheel, which is what I'm using for my sweater spin right now. It was kind of acting a little weird lately, and I was kind of worried that it was like, is it done? Is it breaking down? Like, I would not know how to fix it, or I'd have to contact someone to figure out what's going on. But basically what was happening, I see, I should do this when I have it so I can actually show it to you. But the rod that is connected to the, the thing that spins, like the thing that you put the bobbin on, that rod was coming out. Like, so it would just pop out while I'm spinning. And it was kind of concerning. But what I did was, because now it doesn't do that, I just wiped it clean. I've never oiled or anything my electric eel wheel. It's very strange. I don't know why I don't need to. Like, it runs fine. But it was, like, extra oily. So I wiped it. I wiped it clean. I, like, just attached it back. Like, there's nothing to, like, attach it or screw it in. It just, like, goes into a hole. And then I did that, and then it's now working fine. And I actually feel like the spinning of it is a lot better. It kind of felt like it was getting a little sticky. And now it's fine. But I don't know what happened there. But that's what I did. So maybe, if yours is also doing that or has done that, maybe try and wipe it clean first. Like, I just got a paper towel and just, like, wiped it. Like, a dry paper towel, and wiped off the oil and stuck the rod back in. And now it hasn't come off. It hasn't flown off in the middle of spinning. So that's great. It's great for me. So yeah, spinning on that has now been less stressful than it has been for a little bit, which is great. Okay, that's all my spinning updates. I want to pick another spin to spin on my ladybug, because my nest fiber was on my ladybug, so I can pick a new one soonish. But I do have one acquisition for this week, and it's fiber, which is really fun. This is, as you can see, from Yarn Jam. This was the Fleece Force colorway. I'm pretty sure that the colorway is Fleece Force. And of course I got it on the Shanico base, because Yarn Jam, Trisha from Yarn Jam, she's the first time I heard about the Shanico yarn, Shanico fiber, and I have loved it ever since. So obsessed with Shanico. Love Shanico. It is a U.S. merino rambouillet. Like, the sheep is a merino rambouillet sheep, not merino and rambouillet fiber put together. But this fiber is so fabulous in fiber and yarn form. Anyway, I believe Fleece Force is the team name for a Tour de Fleece team. I forget who's all involved in it, but I think that Trisha made like a custom colorway for that. And I just love the colorway. It did make me realize, I was like, am I going to participate in Tour de Fleece this year, or into what involvement am I going to do Tour de Fleece? I do want to like spin as part of it, but I don't know if I want to be in a team or like keep track of stats or like how involved I want to be. But anyway, I just really like the colorway that Trisha made for this. And so I wanted to get one braid. And so I did. I got it. I feel like at first glance, this doesn't scream Ariel colorway. But I've really been into these kinds of colors, I feel like, lately. I mean, maybe it is just kind of like actually, you know, with like this top part here, all of these, the way that these colors look all together, I love. Maybe less, I mean, obviously it's in the same braid, but like the blues are fine, but I think it's like these purpley, greeny, brown, orangey that I have been really liking, and so just all of that together. I mean, the blue's really nice in there too, but yeah, there's something about this colorway that I've just really enjoyed lately. So yeah, so I got a braid. Don't know when I'm gonna spin it, but maybe soon, or maybe like the first braid that I spin for Tour de Fleece. I don't know yet. I have to think about it. There's a lot of things going on in my life right now. Knitting life, skating life, and just work life as well. And also just personal life, just life, all of life. So my brain has been a bit, feeling a little spread thin, if I'm going to be honest. But I'm trying my best to keep a handle of it all. Trying. I hope you all are doing well. If you're struggling to juggle things as well. Obviously, you know, I don't have as many things to juggle with as maybe most other people, you know, like I don't have children, for example, so I don't have to deal with that and juggling with that. But yeah, there's kind of a lot going on, more than usual in my life, and so just been trying to deal with that. Knitting and spinning has been really helpful for me to kind of just like get in the zone, kind of just think about the knitting and spinning, and kind of to relax, and so that has been super nice. Oh, are there any TV shows, movies that you've watched recently, either new or old but new to you kind of shows? I feel like I haven't talked about shows in a while, but I just finished watching Andor season 2, which is on Disney Plus. It's Star Wars, if you don't know. I absolutely loved it. I mean, I love season 1, and it just took, like, has it been 2 or 3 years until season 2 came out? It just finished this past week. So, and I watched that basically. It was like 3 episodes would come out every week, and so I think it only was like over 4 weeks. 12 episodes. And that format was very interesting. I wasn't sure how I was going to like it, but amazing. I'm not gonna like summarize what happens. I also don't want to accidentally spoil anything, but great show. Loved it. Loved the ending. I wasn't sure how they were going to end it. I mean, I knew that it was going to obviously connect to the Rogue One movie, but I was curious to see how they were going to do that transition. It was great. Loved it. So very happy with how that came out for that. So yeah, Andor season 2, just finished watching. I am currently watching The Last of Us season 2. I think is there 2 more episodes to come out? Maybe 3? I hope 3. There might be just 2. There might be 2 more. And again, it's like another show where really loved season 1, and so it was very, the anticipation for season 2 was was there for me, and I think season 1 really was the best season. I think season 2 is just, if you know the story, like, it's just so gruesome. Not that season 1 wasn't, but it's just, season 2 is just so heartbreaking very early on. But, you know, I did not play the video game, because The Last of Us is based on a video game. But because I don't like shooter games, and I don't like being stressed while playing. Like, I don't like games where you're kind of stressed, where you have to, like, run away from, you know, people, or, you know, stuff like that. So I couldn't play the game. Also, I don't think I'm good at those kind of games, so I didn't play the game. However, I watched YouTube videos of, like, people playing the game, and so, because I wanted to know the story, so I did watch the gameplay of like the second game of The Last of Us, and so I knew that, you know, the second season was going to be based off of that, and so I already knew kind of what was going to happen. They did change more in season 2 per the game than I feel like they did in season 1 for, you know, the first The Last of Us game. But it's interesting. It's interesting to see. I still very enjoy watching it, and so I know some people were like, at least online, were like, after the very sad thing that happens in season 2, they're like, I'm done. I'm not going to watch it anymore. But I'm like, oh, but you need to feel the everything that comes with what happens after that. So anyway, those were the shows that I've been into lately. I'm trying to think, have there been ones that I watched and then it finished and then I haven't talked about it? I mean, I'm still constantly thinking about how amazing Severance is. Gosh, I can't wait for season 3 of that to come out. What else? I don't know. That's all I can think of right now. Let me know what shows you've been watching or movies. I still feel like there are a lot of shows that are like already done, right? Like from years ago, or movies that are just like older that I haven't seen. So let me know if there's ones that you really enjoy. Yeah, I know that's kind of like a big ask. Like there's a lot that can encompass that. And I haven't even shared all the ones that I've watched, so it could be that I've watched it already. But, you know, if you have, like, a favorite one that you put on all the time or something, I'd love a show that you can rewatch as well. Like, just a good rewatchable show. But, yeah, I don't know. Let me know. I'm curious to know about that, too, because now that Andor is done and The Last of Us is going to finish soon, I want to have a new show to watch. Whether, you know, actual new or just like new to me, let me know. I've also started watching House. I know that that's an older show, but yeah, I do also kind of like, sometimes I don't like medical shows if it's like too much, because I get kind of weird about that. But you know, I like those kind of shows. It's kind of good right now. I don't like take it too seriously, just kind of like have it on in the background. Sometimes when I just like need something where I don't need to like really watch and pay attention. So that's another show I guess I've been watching. But yeah, okay, I think that's done. I feel like I need to drink water. My voice is kind of like going out now. I must have been talking for quite a while. This week was, I feel like, a lot. A lot of exciting things happened. A lot of progress on things. Oh, I also finished my secret test knit this week. So I will be able to show that to you all pretty soon. The wait won't be as long as the Sari Nordlund test knit, so that should be really fun and exciting to look forward to. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. As always, let me know in the comments down below what you've been working on while you've been watching or listening to this podcast. I mean, you don't have to let me know, and it also doesn't have to be what you've been working on. Like maybe, I don't know, tell me a fun fact. We can chat. I know I'm not the quickest at responding to comments, but I do really appreciate it when you all do. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great upcoming week. And yeah, I look forward to talking to you all in next week's video. Bye.